Well, if you're just joining us, this is the World News Report. We now turn our focus to the just ended 14th WTO Ministerial Conference that held in Yaoundé, Cameroon, taking you back to one of the key voices we engaged on the sidelines of the talk. Ambassador Dr. Stephen Kojo Sackey, a Ghanaian diplomat and global peace advocate, shared his insights with us during the conference, offering a perspective that connects diplomacy, youth empowerment, and development priorities for Africa. So we began by asking him what drives his commitment to global service before turning to his take on the significance of the conference for the African continent.
Thank you very much, Gladys, for asking such a brilliant question at this point. As a young Ghanaian personality attending school at Adesado College, I joined a group called GUNSA, Ghana United Nations Student Association. And in fact, my father was a very proponent or driving force behind my participation in youth diplomacy, humanitarian services, among other things that you have rightly highlighted. And growing up as a young student, Kofi Annan, who is then the 7th Secretary General of the world, his activity inspired much confidence in us, and people like Mandela. We used to read about them and the way they handle diplomatic issues and humanitarian activities really inspired us. And for that matter, I joined an organization called United Nations Youth Association as a national youth coordinator for Wafuna Ghana chapter. So my life has spent almost 30 years in this space, and for want of time, I want to say that these are the parameters. When I see people in pain, in struggle, it's something that my heart bleeds. And when I had graduated from the university for the first time, I even set up an underprivileged fund for the orphans, out of works that I have done personally. So I was born on the day of peace, September. So I think maybe by birth, naturally, I am born to be a peacemaker. And I've done this for decades, going to different places of the world to ensure that there's peace around the world. Because when there is peace, we can also trade. So these are the reasons that had brought me here originally. Thank you.
Well, Stephen, with such a wide portfolio, what keeps you grounded before, especially when progress in global systems can be slow in this era?
First of all, I want to say that it's all about trust in God, the God factor. God has been my pillar and the foundation of whatever I do in this world. And I also want to say that it is about integrity, it is about consistency, it is about loyalty and believing in what you do. Because being a peacemaker or a humanitarian is a noble profession. And with this mindset, knowing what is going around the world, I am committed that there should be people who will be able to advocate for peace. And such people can be any person around the world. And people like Kofi Annan, people like Mandela, you know the struggles that they went through. Mandela was incarcerated for almost 27 years for defending for the human rights and the cause of justice. Yet, he did not abandon these core human values. And if people like this have done this, I should be inspired to stay focused, irrespective of the challenges that this work comes with, the occupational hazards that this work comes with. I should always remain resilient, because I know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And when there is peace, when there is serenity, there will be development. And prevention is always a key. Like I said in earlier interview that the late Kofi Annan, the seventh Secretary General of the world, once intimated that the youth should not be made part of the problem alone, but they should be made part of the solution. And in line of that, United Nations has come out with Resolution 2250, allowing youth inclusivity, being part of this decision-making process. So all these things, youth must be involved, and I'm a young professional. I must be able to contribute to the global conversation. So looking at these factors, it grounds me and knows that there is hope at the end of the tunnel. Thank you very much.
Now, talking about youth being involved in the solution and not just the problem, do you think or do you feel young Africans are being sufficiently included in global decision-making spaces like that of the World Trade Organization?
Yes, of course, Gladys. This is a very brilliant question. If youths are not made at the center of this global conversation, you can clearly understand that you and I will not be at this forum. I'm a very young professional, and invitation has been extended to me as part of Circles of Business Developers Africa, representing them as their national presidents. The NGO sector, we need to make sure that they are also part of the global conversation. Civil society, the students, academia, and those in government, all of us as multi-stakeholders in line with the United Nations Goal 70. It's about partnership, it's about collaboration. So our voice matters in this World Trade Organization summit, and for that matter, me being here may surely amplify the voice, the fact that youth are part of this global conversation. And I think we can increase youth participation the more, because the more youth are on the table, more peace will prevail in the world, because they are with energy. Youth comes with energy, you come with vigor, and whatever you give to the youth, if you're able to give youth the platform, the positive platform, he will be able to multiply it. So I want to commend WTO for giving youth the opportunity to be part of this global conversation.
So what appraisal do you have to make about the outcomes of the MC14, especially on discussions that you participated in?
Thank you very much. I can say that it has been a great opportunity to network and also try to know what is happening within the e-commerce space, and also trade harmonization policies that needs to be implemented at the governmental level, at the civil society level, and all the sectors for us to achieve the targets and the realization of the WTO goals, because you cannot come out with policy when it is not being implemented. And looking at the war that are happening in the world, it will affect trade, and this is the high time all of us must come on board to ensure that the aim and the vision of the WTO is realized. And I think the Director General of WTO said in one of the fora that people matters, and inclusion is always the key. So I think it is not far-fetched that all of us are here and we are connecting very well. Kudos to Cameroon government for hosting this event, and also all the partners who have supported this call. We want to say that thank you very much for such a great work you have done so far. It has been very successful and interesting, and we are connecting, and I believe that in the foreseeable future, all of us will be able to trade and trade very well, respecting the rules and the values of trade and commerce around the world.
Ambassador Dr. Stephen Kojo Sackey, thank you for talking to CRTV News.
It is always a pleasure, and let me use this opportunity to say that if you want to do business, Ghana is one of the places that you can do business. The place is so conducive, and the security-wise is great. Let us all continue to work together as African brothers and sisters and global players to see that we are one people with common destiny, and with peace trade can also be enhanced. Thank you for having me, Gladys, and your team. I want to say kudos to you, all of you.
Thank you, Stephen. And of course, it's time for Africa to move as one. Well, before we go, a recap of our top stories.